The Reaper Suite from Halfsun DSP might be the closest we are ever going to get to a signature archetype Alexi Laiho. Let's check it out. A few weeks ago, a friend of mine introduced me to James over at Halfsun DSP because they claim to have created a plugin that emulates the exact album tones from Children of Bodom. Being a fan of older Children of Bodom like Hate Crew Death Roll and Are You Dead Yet, I wanted to check it out, see how close they got. Let's start by looking at the first paragraph of the user manual so we know exactly what we're getting into. So, this plugin is designed to recreate the exact album tones from our favorite Finnish melodic death metal band. Painstaking effort has been made from the ground up to create something that is a one-to-one recreation. This includes a modded Lee Jackson GP1000 preamp design with a JE1000 boost baked into the gain control. The amp also features baked-in cabinet processing for the exact tone from the album, with adjustment parameters to account for differences between pickups. Cool, so let's look at the actual plugin. It's ridiculously simple. It really just has a gain, a gate, an output, presence, and resonance knobs, and then a channel selector, which is going to be the album tones that you want to select. Red Reaper, green, blue, hate, black, and blood. And if you're confused at all as to why these are named what they are named, then you can take a look at the discography and you can kind of line them up between the different albums, and it makes sense. Let's start by listening to the plugin unprocessed so you can hear the before and after. I'm also going to change the gain back up to its default position, which is at maximum, so you can hear what this sounds like by itself. Sounds pretty good. The pickups on my Bala gear are pretty low, mid, heavy, so I did find that this plugin does take overdrive pedals pretty well. So I picked up the Archetype Gojira overdrive, minimal amount of distortion, just a little bit of sculpting, no push into the amplifier. It also allowed me to draw the gain back a little bit because I was finding that both of those stacked was giving a little bit too much fizz. But here's what it sounds like with the overdrive pedal. Just kind of tightened it up a little bit. Moving on to the bus processing, I have the FabFilter Pro MB, just ducking the palm mutes whenever they pop up. And then I have FabFilter Pro Q3, dipping 6K just a little bit, 1 decibel. And then I have the SSL style EQ from the K-strip, dipping 6K by 2 dB, 342 hertz, 0.7 dB, and then just a very slight boost around 77 hertz. So let's listen to the processing before and after on the bus. See, that sounds pretty good. I really didn't have to do a whole lot of processing to make it sound pretty close to the album tones. Obviously, I can't play the album tones on this video because I don't want this video to get copyright strike. So it is what it is. So now that we've heard the processing, let's actually go through and listen to the different channels. It's kind of cool because it's sort of like a time lock where you get to hear the different eras per channel from the earliest recordings to the later recordings. So what are my thoughts on this plugin? It's not a full-blown suite. It is more like a pack of quad cortex captures or a pack of NAM snapshots, I think that's what they're called. And like the quad cortex captures and the NAM snapshots, this is very, very specific to a very specific tone. And most of the controls are baked in. You're not gonna have a whole lot of flexibility with this. You basically just get what you get. Now, I do like this for a couple of reasons because it aims for a very specific tone and nails it very well. It really doesn't try to please everyone with what it has to offer. Now, that being said, I do kind of wish for a little bit of flexibility on the presence and resonance knobs because at default, they are set to 0 and you can only boost the presence or resonance. So I found that my guitar tone was a little bit bright and I would have liked to have been able to drop that a little bit within the plugin. But also, I have plenty of EQs that I can do that with afterwards, so it's not really that big of a deal. I also really like its simplicity because I don't really need any more emulations of overdrives or reverbs and delays, because I know what my favorites are, so if I want to use the Archetype Gojira's overdrive pedal beforehand, I can set that up. If I want to put the Archetype Mateus Asado reverbs and delays, I can set that up, if I ever want to make some like lead tones or anything like that. So really, who is this for? This is definitely for fans of Children of Bodom and Alexi Laiho specifically, because I don't think we've ever had a plugin that's ever been designed specifically to get those tones. If you want a piece of history, or even if you just want a bit of nostalgia to be able to plug in your guitar and just sound like Are You Dead Yet or Hate Crew Death Roll, you can just do that. It was actually really fun to be able to pick up my guitar and just sound like the album's tones. I gotta say, I haven't downpicked like that in so long, and my arm was so tired from that. I know tone chasers are probably gonna like this because this is based off of gear that you really can't get anymore unless you troll around Reverb or Vintage King. And finally, one of the reasons why I wanted to make this review was because I wanted to support a small business like Halfsun DSP. They're an offshoot of Halfsun Amplifications, which is an amp repair place in Australia, and I really liked the passion that they had in building or recreating the actual component level modifications to create this pack. I think passion at its core is something that needs to be treasured and something that needs to be supported and nurtured when you find it. So if you like the tones that you heard on this video, you want to pick up the plugin, there is an affiliate link in the description down below. The affiliate link does support the channel because a percentage of the sale does go back to me as a kickback, and that will support me in my endeavors to potentially make some more videos like this. So with that being said, thank you so much for checking out the video. I'll catch you all in the next one.